Oh, hello, beautiful souls. It's Kerry, plus the Empire Queen, with an update, an astrological forecast. I've got the Mexican Day of the Dead skull on. This is a cross-cultural image of death, endings, etc. Nothing to be frightened of. We have a physical body while we're here on the earth, and then we cast that off and we go back to the world of spirit. And if we're lucky enough to come and have another life, or we're required to come and have another life, for the erasing of karma that we've perhaps created inadvertently. Be careful, do your best work, because everything has a consequence. On the 21st of March, the sun moved to 0 degrees of Aries. This is the first degree of Aries. And the Sabian symbol associated with this degree is a woman emerging from the oceanic depths, embracing a seal. So this is about things taking form. So this is a very important point. The area of the body that's ruled by this degree is the cerebrum. So we're talking about the brain, we're talking about conscious thought, and we're talking about taking responsibility for the conscious thoughts that we send out and what that creates. So really keeping your thoughts on higher things because they have consequences, not just individually but collectively. If we're sending out certain thoughts at low level vibrations, it has consequences. It can bring in kind of low level entities, and that can impact not just on us but on other people that perhaps get caught up in the matrix of the energy because of their karmic vibrational level. So 21st of March was the solstice, the equinox, and that varies. It's usually between 20th and 22nd of March each year, and it's what we would call the spring point or the east point, and that's when the sun moves into Aries, and Aries is the beginning, it's the first sign, which means that we're coming out of Pisces, which is the last sign, and that's the sign of winter, and it's the sign of things breaking down. We've got so much activity at this degree in the next month to 2 months. So on the 27th of March, Venus, which is currently retrograde, moves to the 0 point of Aries, and then on the 30th of March, Mercury, which is also retrograde, moves to the 0 point of Aries. In between that, we have a new moon. We are in the eclipse season, and so this is always, eclipse seasons are always where the universe shakes things up in our lives to get us back on our path. So I'll talk about the new moon shortly, but I just want to stay focused on the 0 degrees of Aries. On the 31st of March, the planet Neptune moves to 0 degrees of Aries. Neptune is about spirituality, it's about the collective, it's about the complete kind of consciousness of humanity. And it rules Pisces. Neptune rules Pisces. So if you think about the oceanic depths, but if you think about that like the soul, so not just the individual soul, but the collective soul. We hear a lot about pollution of the earth, etc., but we don't hear so much about pollution of the soul. And when we have people who are involved in darkness and corruption, it's impacting on everyone in the sense that we share a collective soul. And so the actions of one impacts on the actions of others. So people engaging in evil practices will be brought out into the light. And we've seen this on numerous levels. So Neptune rules our spirituality, and Neptune rules Pisces. We're coming out of the Piscean age. It doesn't just happen on one day. It's kind of a gradual thing. If you ask me, I would say the 5th of February 1962, when there was a big alignment of planets in the sign of Aquarius at the 16th degree of Aquarius. This was, to me, the beginning of the age of Aquarius. Now, Pluto, the planet of transformation and change, is currently at the 3rd degree of Aquarius, which is an air sign. So it's come out of the earth sign, Capricorn, which is about world governance and the structures, and we've seen corruption being exposed, and we've seen the collapse of old systems where people used and misused their power. There was propaganda, there was all kinds of things going on. So Pluto is now in an air sign, and it will remain in an air sign for the next 20 or so years. Then we have Neptune moving into a fire sign. So we're going from earth and water into fire and air. So these are different elements. So what I want to say is, on a vibrational level, we really need to be conscious about what it is we're creating with our thoughts. So keeping your thoughts in good places, in places, in wholesome places, in places that uplift all of humanity, and that strive towards light, towards righteousness, and towards unity consciousness as well. Now, Mercury and Venus are currently retrograde, and they will continue to retrograde back into the sign of Pisces, where Saturn is sitting as well. And Saturn is at about the 24th degree of Pisces, and this degree is associated with the Sabian symbol, the purging of the priesthood. Now, the meaning of this Sabian symbol is very significant because it's about eradicating false thoughts. So when we think about the priesthood, we think about the people who serve Christ, God, and in some traditions, the priesthood is associated with Christianity, but it's not exclusively associated with Christianity, because there are priests, not so many priestesses around these days. The Christian church certainly did its best to eradicate as many priestesses as it could from the collective. Women were burnt at the stake, women were drowned, women were tortured, etc., etc. So that era is all coming to an end, and the male patriarchal hold of power over the collective is loosening and will collapse. So be prepared for new times ahead, and perhaps it might feel a little foreign moving forward as we come to grips with what is changing in our world and in our consciousness. With Pluto being in the sign of Aquarius, the symbol for that is the water carrier. But remember, water comes in waves, okay? So it just reminds us of air waves. It's an air sign. Aquarius is an air sign. And so we're thinking about the realm of thoughts. And thoughts can be, thoughts are what we send out, either through our mind or through our voice, because that's a vocalized thought. So we use petitions, we use commands, we send out prayers. And so our agency as a magician or as an initiator, our voice, our thoughts are very powerful things. So it's important to use your voice wisely. Always talk in the positive, especially anything that comes after an I am statement. So when we think about the cerebrum in the mind, this is the temple. So the temple is within, and Jesus Christ talked about us going directly to the Father. We think about the crown chakra up here, and that is our connection to the divine. We have a physical body, and then outside of our physical body, we have an energetic body. And this energetic body connects us to higher dimensions. And it has a vibrational resonance which matches what we send out. So we need to really think about our energy and our thoughts that are driving that energy. And we really need to take responsibility for what it is that we're thinking and what it is that we're sending out, because we're all having an impact. So even hidden thoughts that we might think nobody knows about, we will in the future be in kind of experiences or existences where we will be held responsible, just in the same way that perhaps in the past, where people thought that they were getting away with things, never really envisaging that one day we would have an internet where people could be kind of brought to public attention and brought to a public exposure about things that they thought that they were perhaps doing in secret. So everything that happens in secret will be revealed. So that's really a quick summary. I don't like to go on for too long because people get very bored, because we have the attention span of youngsters these days with all the TikToking and all the instant gratification, etc. So really think about yourself as a soul, not just a body here waiting to die, to go through the motions and have a life and feel like there are no consequences for the actions that you take. We are all accountable. So live your best life, do your best work. On the 17th of April, the planet Mercury will have reached the 0 degree of Aries again. And on the 1st of May, Venus will reach that 0 degree of Aries again in its direct motion. So there's a lot of activity around here. So the Mercury and the Venus are about reviewing our thoughts and also reviewing the way that we relate to others. So relating in love, coming from our heart center. We have the 7 chakra points here in our body, and they each relate to different areas, different power points in our body. And if there's some deficiency in any area of that, it will bring in experiences for us to help us become aware of that. So being a really clear channel so that we can assist others, like a guide, directing them towards the light. So I'm going to finish up now, lovelies, because I don't want this to go on for too long.
Could this be magic? Could it be true?